This is Michael with AI Made Simple. Today, I'm showing you how to build your own generative AI chatbot that you can customize to your own liking. You can customize the look of it, the personality of it, anything else you want. And this requires no coding experience whatsoever. So it's an excellent starting point for learning about generative AI, even learning about coding if you want to. If you're able to download some applications, copy paste some code, you can make this. You're also going to be able to share it online with friends and family, or even use it for business case if you want. For example, on my website, I have a bunch of these chatbots built with the exact same foundation that I've modified for the purpose of my website. For example, this one is my landing page greeter. It greets people, finds out what they want, helps them navigate my website, and even makes appointments. The final product will look like this. You can type here, and you can see I've given it a personality for AI Made Simple. It'll respond to you in this box. You can modify the look of it, but this is what it's going to look like at the end of this project. While you don't need any coding experience for this project, there are quite a few steps to it, and I'm likely to forget some things or perhaps forget what it's like when you're doing this for the first time. So I'm going to have some resources to go along with this video. I'm going to have a blog post on my website, which I'll link in the video description, and I'm even going to make a custom GPT just to help people get through this video. It's going to have the transcript of the video in its knowledge base so that GPT can help guide you through any parts where you get stuck. So please check out the video description if you ever get lost anywhere. This project will be broken into 2 chapters. Chapter 1 is building the chatbot. Chapter 2 is sharing the chatbot online. So let's start chapter 1. Let's build a chatbot. First, you need to download the coding tool that we're going to use. It's effectively JavaScript. Search node.js. You should get something that looks like this. Depending on when you watch the video, it might look different. This stuff changes all the time. But you'll download and install node.js. Next, you need Visual Studio Code. Visual Studio Code is our code processor, I suppose you could call it. Think of like a word processor. This is a code processor. Now, there are a variety of different ways you could do this project. I'm just showing you what works for me and what I know is simple enough to do for anyone. So search VS Code or Visual Studio Code. Should bring you somewhere around here, and download the appropriate one for your system. Last thing we need for chapter 1 is an OpenAI account and an API key. API key is something you're going to hear a few times. API is effectively a way for applications to talk to each other behind the scenes. So please make your OpenAI account. After you do that, go to Login, API Platform, Dashboard, and we're going to make an API key over here. See, all the way at the bottom. Let me delete this one from a failed take of this video, which I've done a couple times. So right here, create secret key. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to call it first video. Oops, I messed up. First video. It's going to let you copy it. You need to copy this and put it in some text processor or whatever, somewhere where you're gonna remember it, because you're never going to see this API key again. Okay, so copy it. By the way, if you do lose it, just come back, delete the one you lost. So that's just a safety practice. Delete the one you lost and then create a new one. Not a big deal. Okay, that's our setup. Now let's get to building the chatbot. Open Visual Studio Code. This is where we're going to build the chatbot. You might have some introduction stuff to get through. That's fine, just get through it. Eventually, you're going to want to make a folder where you will keep the project. Now, you can do this in just normal File Explorer if you want to, or you can do it in Visual Studio Code. I'm going to do it here. So I'm going to click here for New Folder. I'll name it Example. And now we need to open Terminal. So right-click your folder, open an integrated terminal. That'll open up down here. And you're going to paste in this script. By the way, this script I'll have in the blog post, and you can just copy-paste the same thing. What this is, it's going to call something called next.js, which is kind of like a foundation for building websites, and it's a great foundation for building chatbots. So this is all calling that, and then here we are naming it. So I'm just naming it something real simple, just chatbot. It's going to have some questions to set up the project. You can use the tab key on your keyboard to navigate. For TypeScript, say no. ESLint, yes. Tailwind CSS, yes. SRC, whatever, no. App router, yes. TurboPack, no. Import alias, no. Now it's going to build for you. I'll be back in a sec. My project has finished installing, so I'm going to open it. You'll notice under your folder that you created, you should have a new folder called Chatbot, if you use the same name that I did, called Chatbot. Let's open that in the integrated terminal. Right-click, open an integrated terminal. It should say Chatbot right here. Okay, now let's build the chatbot. You're not going to believe how simple this is. Now I have my example chatbot right here with all the code that I'm going to copy paste. But you, I suppose, will find it on my blog or on a GitHub link. It'll probably be a GitHub link, but it's going to work effectively the same. You're just going to find the code and copy paste it. It's only 2 files. 3, I suppose, but third one's really small. First file is under app. Page.js. Copy paste this. Place it in the same place in our folder, our chatbot folder. App. Page.js, the file's already there. All this stuff, don't need it. Paste and save. Next is a file called route. This is going to be under app, API, chat, route.js. And we need to make that now. The default next.js does not have that. So we need to right click app, new folder. Call this API. Right click API, new folder. Call it chat. Right click chat. This time, new file, not folder, new file. Call it route.js. Using .js makes it a JavaScript file. Now paste in the code. Save. We need to make one more file with your chatbot folder. Right click, new file, .env.local. This is a special file. You should notice it gray out. That means that when you push this online, this file does not go online with it. This is a file that's going to have your API key. And your API key is a secret thing because if someone else gets it, then they can be charging money to your OpenAI account. You don't want that. In this folder, type in all caps, OpenAI underscore API underscore key equal sign, and then paste in that long OpenAI API key that you got. Save the file. That is done. All the coding work is done. Now we just need a few scripts to install our libraries. And what a library is, I'm going to try to explain what a library is. Just bear with me. Understand that I'm not a software engineer. I'm not a technical person. My understanding of a library is it's sort of like when you're cooking, you have some things that are ready-made. Like if you're going to make a shepherd's pie, you might make the mashed potatoes yourselves. You might mash them yourself. But that cream of mushroom soup, I'm not making that myself. No way. I'm just going to buy that ready-made from the store and put it into my shepherd's pie. A library is kind of similar. It's things that are reused often by multiple different people. So someone just packaged them into a library that anybody can use and place into their folder, or into their project, I'm sorry. Thankfully, our libraries here are pretty simple. We have our something from React, our OpenAI library, and also an AI library from Versal. It's kind of like a set of tools that makes building AI projects easier. So again, this will all be in my blog post. Just copy paste this script. Make sure you're in your chatbot folder here and hit enter. And this is going to install. I'll see you in just a moment. Oh, actually, I didn't need to cut. That was super fast. Okay, and now, if I am correct, everything should be done. It's all ready. In order to see it, you need to type in a script in order to run the project locally. This will run on your computer. You still need internet connection to get that API to OpenAI, but you can see what it's going to look like on your computer. So you type npm space run space dev, and this should load up on your computer. It's going to host locally. So you'll see this local host colon 3000 probably. And you can, I believe, yeah, it's control click. So hold control and click that. And there we go. Hello. And it works. Now that the chatbot is working, let's talk about how you can modify it for whatever you want. Go back into your code. Now, you might not be a programmer, so this might be very intimidating, but it's actually quite simple. Let me break down just the basic pieces of it in an extremely simplified way. This is setup stuff. Here you're importing libraries and just kind of setting up the program. Here is what we're going to talk about. This is the system prompt. This is the instructions for the chatbot that are behind the scenes, informing the chatbot of its personality, its job, all that sort of stuff, all of its instructions. Down here is where you're setting up the AI model. You're telling it which AI model to use, what sort of parameters to have on it. And then down here is where you send the output of the model to the front end, to the user-facing side of the application. So let's look at the personality, because this is really the fun part. Here you can change the personality. You can give the chatbot a job. Let's try something real simple. I'm going to change it to you are a golden retriever that is not intelligent at all, but wants to go on a walk. All right, I'm going to save that. Come back over here, reload. Hey, can you explain quantum theory to me, please? Move quantum theory? I don't know. All right, so you can see that now it's got a totally different personality. And this is really the fun part. This gets into prompt engineering. When people say prompt engineering, there's really two elements to it. There's the prompt here, where you say, plan a vacation for me. That's kind of like the user side of the prompt. Oh, that is my recording software. And then here is the behind the scenes prompt. And this is really the important prompt. This is where you're giving your chatbot a job. You're giving it instructions. And these instructions are for every time someone uses the chatbot, every conversation, every message. Oh, also, since we're here, this is where you can change which AI model you're using. Maybe GPT 4.0 mini, 4.0, 03, 01, whatever. You can just change that here, and it'll still work with your API key that you have set up in the environment variable. And then if you do want to use a totally different brand like Gemini or Anthropic, you can set that up pretty easily here too. You'll need to do a little bit of research, and you'll need a different API key from whatever brand you're using, but it's relatively easy to set up also. Let's look at the front end. This is really fun. Let me change my screen, because what you can do here is as you make changes, you can see them happen in real time. Again, because this is hosted locally on your computer. So if I just remove this and then save, watch here. See? It just updates to my chatbot. So in this file, we're not going to go over it right now, but you can change the language that's here. You can add words to it. You can change the color. You can change the size of the chat box. All sorts of different things. You can either learn how to do it, or you can ask ChatGPT how to do it, or honestly, you can ask ChatGPT just to make a whole new UI for you. You can tell it what kind of a UI you want, or even just tell it to follow best practices and make a UI for you and copy paste that in here. What I do pretty often is I'll copy paste what I have and paste that into ChatGPT or Claude or whatever you want to use, and tell it the kind of updates I want, and then it'll give me back something that I can copy paste into here. That completes chapter 1. Now let's move to chapter 2 and get this chatbot online so you can share with friends or family, or even use it for some business case if you have one. We need to download one application and sign up for two services in order to do this. But first, if your server is still running, you can see my chatbot is still running. We need to close that down. So come over here and do Control C, and now that is closed. Okay, what we need to sign up for is you need to download Git. So I just searched download Git, this one right here. Download the appropriate one for your system and install that. Then go to github.com and sign up for a GitHub account. This is a place where we can upload and share our code. Now what we need to do is to connect our GitHub account to VS Code. I'm going to be honest, this is the part that I know the least about actually because I've only done it once. It was a very long time ago. So if you get lost, please talk to my ChatGPT, consult the blog post, or talk in comments and we'll get it figured out. But here we go. So we have our GitHub account. We have VS Code. I can see I've already been experimenting with a little bit. Here we hit F1 or whatever the equivalent is on your system. Type GitHub. We're looking for GitHub pull requests. Sign into GitHub. Click that. Allow. It's going to open your browser and now you can connect your VS Code to GitHub. This is me coming back after the edit because I think I found an easier way to get the code from VS Code to GitHub. Honestly, this is the most confusing part of the whole process to me. I don't know why this stuff has to be so complex. But here we go. So I made a whole new project and I'm just going to commit it to my main GitHub, not the one I made for the video. So after we've got all our stuff here, go to source control. We've connected our VS Code to GitHub. We need to commit it. And right here, we're going to write a message. So I'm just going to write first commit and click yes. Okay, so that's been committed. And now we're going to publish it to the, basically make a folder for it in GitHub. It's called a repository. I'm just going to call it first push, I suppose, and click go. Now here, look at the top. It's asking if you want to make it private or public. We have to make it public because I'm pretty sure we have to make it public because we're going to put it in Versal. So we're going to do public. Looks like it worked. Let's go check. Yep, there's my repo and there's all my code. We're good to go. And the last step is to host it online with Versal. So when you sign up for Versal, just sign up with GitHub. That makes it all simple. So for me, I'm just going to log in with my GitHub authentication. These are all my old projects. You can add a new one, add a new project. And it should connect directly to your GitHub. So here is my project, and I'm just going to import. Now, when you do this, you need to add your API key, because remember that did not get pushed to GitHub. So you can come back into your project, grab this, just select all and copy. Come back to Versal and paste it in here. You can see the API key name goes here and the actual API goes here. And that's it. You're ready. Just deploy. This will take a while to build and then it'll be online. My build is finished and it is now online. So if I click this, there's my chatbot. It's now hosted online with a URL I can send to anyone. We saw the dog personality, good. One last thing we need to go over is how to update the chatbot. As you iterate and change the UI, as you change its personality, you're going to want to update it. Thankfully, this is a very simple process. What's cool is now you have the code on GitHub and the chatbot is hosted online on Versal, but those two are connected. So as soon as you update it on GitHub, it's also going to automatically start rebuilding on Versal. So what I've done here is I've given my chatbot a whole new UI. I'm going to go to source control and sync changes. I'm going to give it a name, UI update, I suppose. Okay. And now we'll wait while this happens. The build is finished, and now we can go take a look. Here's my new chatbot. Hello. Okay, there you go. So that is how you can build your first generative AI chatbot, post it online, modify it, all that good stuff. So this is your starting point, and now you can have fun with learning. Enjoy.